Scientists have estimated that 90% of the human brain's power and abilities go untapped. Just think of the possibilities available to man if we were to make use of our full potential. Our next guest has tapped some of her talents and as a result has been able to help many people, doctors and laymen alike. The first scientifically documented aura reader in history and director of the Healing Light Center in Glendale, California, Rosalyn Brueyre. Welcome.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
You read auras,
yes,
and then you derive physical and emotional truths about the people. Explain how someone reads an aura, and can you tell about somebody's physical condition by reading an aura?
Well, perhaps the most important information contained in the aura around the body is of a physical nature. For thousands of years, we thought there was something mystical about them, something spiritual about them, and certainly some key to creativity. But we are now finding through documentation that there are real keys there to physical conditions. And perhaps the most exciting thing that came out of research is that the aura shows it before the body does. In other words, if it's out in the auric field and we can design equipment that reads as accurately as I can now, we could then begin preventive medicine.
Hey, how about a snap reading here?
Yeah, how does it look over this direction?
Is there a fee?
Oh, never.
How does one become interested in something like an aura? I mean, how did it all happen to you? It just evolved?
I guess not. Mike's got a certain amount of questions he's going to ask, and that's it.
Of course. And a certain amount of time left, yes.
I'm sorry about that.
Can anyone learn to do what you do?
I think probably most people can learn. I think most people have some ability and sense things. You know, we have a common phrase here in Hollywood. We say we feel people's vibes.
Yes.
Well, the difference is I see them. And I think most people have the ability to translate into a visual image that perception.
Does someone need a God-given amount of talent before they
No, I think
can
that's
do this?
only to sing, isn't it?
No, I don't know. No. Just to do what he does.
I could read your aura.
Yes,
To do,
yes.
I think you could.
Sure. I'm very good at that. I'd give you a fast reading like that.
Okay, if it's fast, I'll
See
go.
a doctor.
Now, you want to make it clear to our audience that the healing you're involved in has nothing to do with faith healing.
Yes, I think that it's a common misconception. People think that those of us who are involved in the field of healing are either very religious or have some religious point to make, and for the most part, many of us who work don't try to make a religious point. It's very important to me that a patient simply be receptive, but not particularly believe anything. I think that's an unfair responsibility
May I ask
to
a
place
question?
on the sick
Sure.
person.
This is legit. Can you help people improve their aura?
Yes, yes. The bulk of healing, as it's practiced in this country, is aimed at increasing that energy around the body so that cells regenerate naturally.
Vitamin C doesn't help at all, then.
Yes, it does.
How would you go about doing what he said? Help people improve their aura.
We try to channel energy through us. Most of us practice laying on of hands, as it was scripturally mentioned. So
Is there sex
touch.
involved?
No.
Laying on of hands?
No, not bigger circles. None of those things.
Oh.
Just laying on of the hand, okay?
No, touching.
Touching.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Allowing the energy of this. I see.
May I tell you that I've had a woman on my show before who did a whole thing with a Polaroid camera and took pictures, and we could actually physically see the auras around people, yes, and around people's hands, around their head. But when she left, everyone, including my entire staff and the studio audience, all went, well, what's it all about? I mean, so she showed all that, that we all have an aura, but what does it mean? And they didn't take it seriously. I've got to tell you this.
I think people don't take it seriously because they don't realize that we actually have the potential of protecting ourselves against illness through the mechanism. See, if we could know that there was something wrong in that field and therefore gain the energy not to get sick, we would really be ahead, and that really is the point of that research.
But if that photograph showed a tremendous aura, as some of ours did, and another one showed a not-so-glowing aura, would that person necessarily have some physical problems?
No, but they might be more vulnerable at that point to a virus that the rest of us would normally fight off, or, you know, when you're in that diminished area is when you need to be careful. And that's really the point of the work.
Is it possible to teach others how to heal themselves?
Well, that's half of what our center's program is about, is teaching others to read the aura, to use it as a diagnostic tool. We have a lot of paraprofessionals in the medical fields who are
Is it necessarily
students.
being used on people who are ill?
Almost always, but it's also being used for counseling. Psychotherapists use it to monitor different kinds of psychological conditions as well.
You know, I've often said that when you go to a doctor, he'll take your blood pressure and he'll listen to your heart and everything. But here's where it all starts, right?
Yeah.
All illnesses
Yes.
start with the mind.
Greatest toy in the world, the human
and
mind.
the most precious organ that we have, and that's why I don't understand people into dope and all kinds of things.
Oh, I said toy.
Uh,
I heard someone say that. I think I did just now.
yes, you said that. To try to improve
the mind,
their
the mind.
status, and, you know, or whatever.
The very edge of our research, as a matter of fact, is now beginning to think that perhaps the aura that we're using in research is the mind. And that's perhaps another exciting piece of it. For years in science, we've talked about the mind being in the brain. We now realize that the mind flows through the brain, but is not necessarily contained inside it. So we think perhaps that it is through our good thinking, our healthy thoughts, that our health is in fact protected. We're beginning to give evidence of that.
Are doctors
in
beginning
research.
to recognize the importance of this?
Oh, yes.
This mind
yes.
healing?
The physician I've worked with at the university and I have toured all over the country doing medical conferences and giving our data to physicians.
Norman Cousins had a book, his book, about how he surmounted a tremendous ailment through the power of his mind.
Oh, indeed.
And what he did
And how about
to make himself well.
How about what he did when he had the heart attack? Actually instructed
in
everybody
keeping
as-
with what you're saying.
yeah, as to what to do. Because a heart attack, you know, it's a moment of stress. And these fellows came with the sirens, and everybody was excited. And he said he talked to them. He literally saved his own life.
What you're saying is that awareness is a very important aspect to it.
Yes.
For instance, all the knowledge you can glean from anything. For instance, Dirk Pearson has that book out. Life Extension has a wonderful information there about the body chemistry and how it works. If you know these things, if you know the simplest things about surviving, it's going to help you.
Well, and we've always known that a mother could touch a child and make it better, but we never realized that we could have measured that and found out how to touch, whether it was in that circumstance. And I
It's
think
such a
that's-
complex
yeah,
thing, though.
yeah.
I guess there is no formula for healing anything unless you really incorporate everything that's available
That's
to
right.
you.
All of the modalities.
Rosalind, how were you scientifically tested?
Well, through 6 years of experimentation at the university, I was initially hired because we did a test experiment where I was asked to read the aura, and I was simply put on an audio tape, talking as fast as I could, watching someone else do a process. And when they read the data back that they took off the body that was being worked on, they found a correlation only between what I saw and what EMG recording picked up.
That's fascinating.
So then we continued with 6 more years of experimentation where I would stand and hold a microphone like this one and talk as fast as someone else could move and read the different colors and what they meant. And then they would analyze the electromyographic recordings from the body to see if they matched. And of course, in experimentation, you get lots of things like, what was that and what does that mean? Because they were always testing me. But after a while, you get used to it. At first, it makes you nervous, but then it...
Still a lot of surprises coming your way in this
Yes,
field?
yes. You know, the edge of human potential is so exciting, and we have so much hopefulness. Our children are going to live in a different world because of this, and I think that's very exciting.
Would you please stay? Because in
you.
a moment we'll be joined by Joyce Chilson right after this.